Hi, dear ones. It's Chi and me, Lilli DeCare. And if you happen to see this and you like it, please subscribe. Because in order for you to get the next video, you do have to subscribe. And it'd also be nice if you like it, that you mark you like it. So this year, what I'm really hoping that we accomplish is how to survive elegantly on a shoestring, how to survive all that's coming down the pike, because there are going to be big shifts and changes. And we need to strengthen our spiritual, psychological muscles, not merely our physicality where we go to the gym. We, just like you have to go to the gym every day, we need to go in that closet of solitary and listen and speak to Source and request from Source. Let thy will be my will. And this is a little thing I got for holiday season from a friend. Life is meant to be lived. And the more that we clean up our psychological, our emotional, our trauma, the more that we clean that up, the more that we're going to be able to really live, you know. That old saying of life's a banquet and most poor suckers are just starving to death. So Auntie Mame, that came from Auntie Mame. So I wanted to also let you know about John Randolph Price's book called A Spiritual Philosophy for the New World. And of course he wrote this 20 to 30 years ago, but we're still ushering in a new world, constant, ever-changing realm. And on page 21 in this book, A Spiritual Philosophy for the New World, John Randolph Price, and that on page 21 is a wonderful meditation. He also has written a book called The Abundance Book, which has a 40-day prosperity plan within it. And there are 10 statements, and you work with one of the statements a day. And then you do 10 of them, and then you repeat until you've done it 40 times. So you work with the statements such as, no person, place, or condition is my supply. Source is my supply. And then you ponder it and you really think about it. No person. So it's not your husband, it's not your wife, it's not the boss. No person, place. Oftentimes we get attached to a place. You know, Salt Lake, London, you know, Germany. No person, place, or condition. Oftentimes we think, this job, or I've got to get my money through my hubby, or this and this, and we get afraid. We go into fear mode. What is fear? False evidence appearing real. Really ponder that, really think about what does that mean? What does that look like? False evidence appearing real. Fear. And fear drives us. And always underneath anger. Take a look at what's under anger, and always underneath anger is fear. What are you afraid of? What is the other being afraid of? Take a look at that. If you deal with the fear, oftentimes the conflict will drop to the floor, and there won't be anything that you have to deal with, because you've reduced it to a triviality, which is most things in life. The things that aren't trivialities would be like birth, death, maybe marriage. okay? But most things, everyday life, for instance, people get all Twitter-pated about creating a Thanksgiving dinner. Well, the truth is, it's only one meal in a year out of 365 days. And how many meals do we have in that one year? So we can reduce it to a triviality if everything doesn't just go according to Hoyle, to Hoyle and perfection. So just reduce it. Laughter, humor is your best friend. Not sarcastic, not mean, just funny. Just seeing things funny. Someone sent me a joke the other day, and it was a cartoon of Betty White, who just recently passed at the age of 99. And the cartoon said, "You really know you've been a good person when you die at 99. And everybody is saying, oh, she died too young." So yeah, it's wonderful. Live your life as exemplary as that. We have had amazing examples. Betty White being an example. Sidney Poitier just passed, and he was an amazing actor and activist and for equality. So many wonderful beings have been checking out recently. And yet when we really take a look at it, we're going to see that that's always been. And there will always be people checking out, because we truly only live so long in this particular machine, body. Yeah, so it's like, enjoy. Enjoy it while you can, okay? And it's time to move beyond our fear of death and dying. We have been so afraid in Western culture to talk about it. If you take a look at Asian cultures, Chinese cultures, they have an easier time exploring that particular subject and honoring ancestors. We really need to do some honoring of the ancestors. A video I hope that we do in the future is about 9-day medicine wheel journey. And that is a journey that I would be really open to teaching you. There are many different medicine wheels, not just one. But we make a turn on the wheel. And there are the 4 directions, and we have east, south, west, north, and center. As above, so below. And the east, I'm going to tell you this sort of as a letter. In the east, we formulate what it is that we're thinking about, talking about, requesting. In the south begins to be our healing place. And we begin to think about, how do we want to go about healing this particular issue, cleaning it up? In the west is where we send that negative energy to be cleaned and grounded. And the prayer that we use when we're releasing things is, may what I am about to release not land on anyone or anything at any time, so be it, so be it, and harm none, to harm none. May it harm none. Lest in thy self-defense it be, ever mind the rule of 3. That's the Witch's Creed, okay?
Lilli, I just have to tell you that when you said, and then we release it, a leaf just fell off your poinsettia exactly right then. I just had to say it. I just had to say it. Okay, you're in the flow. I don't want to interrupt, but it was like, what just happened? What?
Just little symbols.
It just went.
Oh, that's funny. Well, thank you, dear. Thank you. So, to harm none, lest in thy self-defense it be, ever mind the rule of three, which basically means don't harm anyone. Four-legged, two-legged, standing people, winged ones, the beings of the water, harm none. I know one of the things that I've received in the local Chinese community is I went through the ceremony of receiving the Tao. And one of the things that they talk about as far as food goes is do not eat anything with a face. Well, that leaves out a whole lot of things. Oh my goodness. And I learned how to do some of the vegetarian cooking that the Chinese Taoists do. So that was just a fun adventure. So I am hoping that you will simplify, simplify, simplify. That is what is needing to be done. I see lots of people everywhere doing de-junking. Oh my goodness. And that it's really necessary. And it's a spiritual endeavor. Of course, keep the things that are important and necessary. But you don't necessarily have to do Marie Kondo unless you want to. That's the one where you ask the item, does it create joy in me? And if it does, keep it, and if it doesn't, toss it. You don't necessarily have to do that. You can do a modified version, and we're beginning to find out we don't need nearly as much of stuff. Remember George Carlin and all of his comedic advice about stuff? If you haven't ever heard it, I suggest you go to your local library and get some of his shows, that sort of thing. It's so fun and speaks a lot of wisdom. Thank you. How are we on time?
12 minutes?
We have 12 minutes left?
Or we've only been going 12 minutes.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. As I said in the previous video I am hoping this year that we only do 20 to 30 minutes max on each video, because I don't want to lose your interest or mine. Yes. Also, take a look at new endeavors, or even older ones that you want to create something new in it. Like to take what you have already studied and make it higher and deeper. I know that simple little things that I do are like dots, books, word finds, which is just kind of fun for me. It helps my intellect. I play games like solitaire on my phone just because it's fun. It keeps my mind occupied, and sometimes I do that when I'm speaking to others because I need a certain part of my brain to be occupied so that I can keep putting out the info out there that needs to go out there. Just simple little things. And you know what I think is so fun is that with all of these changes that are going on in the world and society, and simplify, 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 I think that things such as connecting with the family, doing the games that are fun. What's the game that we play?
Cards Against Humanity.
Cards Against Humanity.
We do the family version.
Yes, yes.
Because the adult is very raunchy. But hey, if you can handle the adult version, I highly recommend that one.
Okay, how fun. And it's just that precious time when you are making memories. Memories with your family, with your loved ones, with others that you treasure. My little guy here, my little Chi, and I named him Chi because in Chinese that means energy. not thinking about that, oh my goodness, he's half Chihuahua and half Beagle, and that he howls like a little coyote, but I named him Chi because I figured if I heard that word often enough, it was energy, and it's good energy, and that's what I want to draw to me. By the way, if you have health issues, I'm a great one to talk to about health issues because I have had so many. Stacy keeps telling me that my bingo card is full and that I'm on the second, third, fourth, fifth one. I don't know.
You've won many rounds of bingo.
Yet there's probably not many things that others go through that I haven't already been through. And when I ask Source, why, I feel like I am that old European peasant stock, and somehow I have had the stamina to go through all sorts of things. Cancer, of course I have breast cancer. Then currently I have precancer uterine cells with endometriosis. I've also have pacemaker defib, congestive heart failure. Then I'm diabetic and I have to take 4 insulin shots a day. Then I have had Graves' disease since my early 30s. Then when I was a kid, I had polio. And now, after chemo and radiation, I have what is called post-polio. I know there's a few thousand other
I think
things.
you left out the stroke you had a couple months ago. There was a stroke.
There was a stroke, yeah. Well, of course I left it out.
Of course. It's just,
I forgot about it.
that little old thing. Oh,
Yes.
Whatever.
Okay, stroke. Oh my gosh. And Graves' disease, which is a thyroid disorder. But I always take these sorts of things and do something with it, which may sound crazy. But like with the Graves' disease, it's a thyroid disorder, hyperthyroid. So I went to IHC Hospital and I facilitated a support group for people with thyroid issues. Who knew? And in the process, I learned so much. Every time I've had some crazy thing, I chose with cancer to do radiation first before I did chemo, and I did something like 36 sessions of radiation. And then I did all the chemo, because I decided I wanted to keep my hair for as long as possible without looking like a concentration camp victim, And it's like I can remember my surgeon saying to me, because I had really long dark hair down to my butt, and he was saying, oh, all that beautiful hair? And he got tears in his eyes. You're going to lose it all. And then it's like, oh, fudge, really? And then I did crazy things, like I wore a royal blue dress with a jacket, Moroccan jacket over it. And then I had a Marge Simpson wig, royal blue hair. And I had men asking me out, saying, I want to go out with you just because I want to show that outfit off. So, and I've had more disorders than that. That's just a kind of a tip of the iceberg sort of thing. Yet I don't relish them or treasure them. It's just kind of like, okay, I have to get on top of this. And when I ask Source, why do I get these things? And it's because you always have something to learn and teach. And it's like, oh, all right, okay, I get it, I understand that. And then as I've matured and am getting older, I've seen how much most people, by the time you're ready to pass over, it's most all of us have had our bodies falling apart. And it's like, well, all right, that's the way of life. Yet how do we cope with that? How do we deal with that? How do we find answers? Okay, how do we stay positive? How do we do upliftment? And part of it is finding interests. Some can be new, some can be old. But finding things, such things that help me is I stay up at night and sleep in the day. Because I prefer that. Okay, I don't really want to deal with tons of people, and that's just fine. I also find that the TV programs at night seem to be way better than in the daytime. I read quite a bit. I like currently James Patterson. I also like John Grisham, and then also, of course, I've read all sorts of spiritual, religious, self-help, etc., etc. But by the time you get to be my age, you've kind of like done it over the top and don't need to keep hearing it. Walk the talk, do your gratitudes, remember to do those. Those are absolutely paramount. Remember to laugh. Remember to joke. Remember not to take your own dear self too seriously or life, because it's all a crapshoot. I see so many people who take things just really to heart and really seriously, and oh my God, and if this happens and that happens, I'm like, so what? Big deal. And remember that you are not the president of the universe. Okay? Other people can take self-responsibility for their own stuff and actually need to, and you need to take hands off. And that is, perfectionism. We need to put that one down, instead of strive for being at least average. You don't necessarily need to be perfect. Remember that you are a work in process, making progress, not necessarily perfection. That's a very good one. Listen and learn. Hear with your heart. Think. Think is pause with a cause. Think before you step off the precipice. Okay? Remember to do your prayers, your meditations. And I'm not telling you that just to hear myself talk. Do it. Because you need to strengthen your mental, emotional, spiritual muscles, not just your physical muscles. Just like we go to the gym or not, we also need to go into that quiet location where we can do our prayer and our meditation and get in touch with our higher selves. And that can be a very practical thing. And then you receive clarity and you know which way to step forward into the new world. See you next time. Have fun.